community through amplifying the voices and vision of innovative educational leaders, practitioners, and learners from South Africa.
Ifikile imini enkulu. Welcome to JGF Amplified, where we amplify the voices of thinkers and doers within the education system. I am Matabo Tladi, and as per usual, andihambi ndodwa, andililo ilolo. I'll never be alone on this podcast, never. And today we're continuing our 3-part series, right? Leading today for tomorrow. And today on episode 3, we are taking a little turn, right? We are representing all our drama nerds in the house, all our embodied teachers. It is time to stand up. The spotlight is on you as we have Sheree Halley to speak about drama in education and how it is a tool and a relevant method of teaching within the classroom, and especially in the South African context as well. I'm not going to do the unpacking of this. We have Sheree Halley, who's going to tell us who she is and where she's from. Sheree?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, Matabo. How are you?
Good, thank you. Please do tell our listeners who Sheree is and where is Sheree from.
Oh, okay. So I'm Sheree Halley, and I am originally from the Eastern Cape.
Come on now.
I know, represent.
Come on now, represent.
So I am from a city called East London.
Emonti,
absolutely.
please.
And yeah, I mean, I grew up in East London. I grew up in Emonti. I went to school in Emonti, but I'm also a Johannesburger.
Yes.
I'm a Joster, as we would call them in East London. I've been here for a very long time. I actually came to Johannesburg to study.
Okay.
About 15 years ago.
Like most of us.
And I'm still here. I love here now. So I actually came to study, and just before coming to Johannesburg, and it's one of the reasons why I even came to Johannesburg to study, is I had no idea what I wanted to do at the end of high school.
Okay.
Drama was something that I'd always done. It was a part of my life. It was an extracurriculum. It was a matric subject. It was like, it was there always. It was something I did on the side. And I got to the end of matric, or I got to matric, and I remember thinking and panicking, oh my word, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And my mum was a teacher.
Okay.
And she was a grade 2 teacher. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a teacher. Yeah. And this is a pinnacle moment in my life, because I thought that I wanted to be a teacher. I felt that I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And my mom said no. My mother, this grade 2 teacher herself, said over her dead body,
would you be a teacher? Did she give you reasons why?
All she said to me was, it's not an industry that I imagine you to be in. It's not an easy industry, and I imagine you could be more. And I would rather pay for you to do a general BA degree than a B.Ed.
Wow.
I was very conflicted by this, because I actually didn't know what was going to come next.
Okay, so you see your mom being a teacher.
Yeah.
What qualities did she display that resonated with you?
I think, and it's also a very sensitive subject matter, because I think that the educator my mom was, she comes from a particular generation, and the educator that she portrayed to me was the disciplinarian. So my mom always had a stick at the front of her classroom. I would spend time with my mother. She also taught at the school down the road in our township, in our colored township.
Yes.
So when I had free days, I'd go and sit in my mom's classroom, but I watched my mom scream at the kids, shout. I knew that she'd hit those kids with that stick. This is the teacher I saw, and the school environment she was in mirrored the same. So the rest of the teachers, you could hear them shouting the kids down the corridors, and so it wasn't what I saw or the values that I witnessed in her, but it was rather what I thought I could do differently.
Aha.
And I watched this kind of education and I was like, there's something more. Maybe I can do it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a dream that I had from young.
So there's an entrepreneur that I listened to, I think on the Forbes channel. I'm trying to think. Yes. So the founder of Calendly, his name is Toby, not entirely sure. And he says that don't fall in love with the problem. And I think that's essentially what you did, right? You saw this disciplinarian, you saw that there could be more to this teacher and learner dynamic that didn't require the stick. You embedded yourself in this problem.
Yeah.
And out of your embedding yourself in it, you were like, you know what? I'm quite frankly the answer. I want to be the teacher.
Yeah, on some level, on some unconscious level. I think that is what was happening. And as well as I think I had some really good teachers in my childhood. I recall a teacher in my primary school. We didn't have drama as an extracurriculum or as a subject or anything. And we had this one really passionate educator. And I can't actually remember his name. He's no longer alive. But we went to him and we were like, you can do drama with us after school. And he was like, yeah, but we need voices. We need approval. And we did a petition. We signed a petition. We created a petition, myself and a group of friends. And we got people to sign, and then we got this teacher, we got the school to approve of him doing after school drama with us once a week.
Let's also talk about drama as a subject almost being a class indicator among schools, right? Like you find that private schools having drama as a subject and an extracurricular is just a no-brainer. And as you go to the lower quintiles, you find drama becoming more of a nice to have
it's
and
not
not
a priority.
it's not a priority. What do you think that is?
It is mostly about resource. I think it's a question of resource, and there's a whole debate on that because, you know, our curriculum has arts education in it. So whether you are a public or a private school, arts education is embedded in the curriculum. We have our CAPS curriculum caters for this, but schools are under-resourced. Schools don't have educators who are trained to teach that, so it's put on the
back
burner. It's not a priority. Right now we have a teacher who can do the life orientation, or what is it called now? Is it still life orientation?
Yeah.
We have an educator that can do that. And the arts curriculum in the earlier phases of our curriculum is embedded as part of life orientation. So the life orientation teachers have to teach some of this in the lower foundation phases. And then as you go older up into FET and GET, it becomes a subject on its own. But at foundation phase, it's embedded in life orientation. So it's like life orientation educators, go ahead, do this.
There's an assumption that you have time, or there's an assumption on personality that if you can do LO, you'll love drama.
You'll love drama because it is a human subject.
Yes,
it is about the human body. And anyway,
it's about excitement. It's about
But so I personally think it's about resourcing and not. We've got this curriculum, but nobody is putting money into the attention of building the educator that can teach this curriculum.
So let's fast forward. Dolly comes to Joburg. Dolly here is Sheree Halley.
Yes.
What does Sheree enroll to do at the University of the Witwatersrand?
So, I mean, before we get there, there's just one moment of meeting my sister and my sister saying to me, you love drama.
Ooh.
This is what you're going to do.
Ooh.
Let's not hide the fact that you love drama. So, okay, Dolly goes and fills out all these applications. Yes. University of Pretoria, TUT, Wits. It was, and my application had two options.
Yeah.
B.Ed, so I still went against my mother.
Sure.
Registered first choice B.Ed, second choice drama. And I got accepted. I did the auditions. I got accepted for both.
Okay.
And in fact, at Wits, I got accepted for B.Ed first, and then I got accepted for drama. And I was coming to Wits, no doubt. But in that moment of being accepted for both, I spoke to my guidance teacher, my careers guidance teacher at school. And I said to her, I wanted to be an educator, and my family's telling me drama, and I've been accepted for both. And she whipped out Fitz's drama curriculum.
Yes.
And she showed me that in third year, that as a part of the drama degree, you do this course called Drama in Education.
Okay.
And she said, if you want to, you can still be that teacher.
It's a 2-in-1.
So I was like, sure, I'm going to University of Witwatersrand. Thank you, sign me up.
Yeah.
Off I went. Tears from my mother because no one in our family had traveled to live as far as Gauteng. And I got you and I did my drama degree. I began with my drama degree, but I knew in my head I was gunning for third year. I was still an actor. I still wanted to perform. So I threw myself in my drama degree. I did this work. I was performing. I was taking, crewing, learning everything. In the back of my mind, I knew what my majors were going to be. I was going to get to third year and I was going to do that drama and education course. And I was going to do the performance as my second major.
So Sheree is not in drama school to be in Generation,
No.
Silver Delan, to be in the next South African blockbuster. She's in drama class to be in
drama
the
teacher.
classroom.
Yeah. That is what it began. That's what it was. And I was still the performer, but I wasn't interested in the fame that came with performance or being on our TV screens. I don't think I ever had the dream to be the next South Africa's soapy star. I never had that dream to be in high-profile films. I had the passion for theatre, but I was gunning to be the drama teacher.
Okay.
I was gunning to defy my family. And I got to third year and it wasn't even drama and education. It was called Applied Drama and
Yes.
Theatre.
Yes,
and I was
yes,
like,
yes.
no, wait. Where are you teaching me to be the teacher? I'm coming here to be the teacher.
So what was your perception of being the teacher?
I thought that drama and education was a course that they were going to teach us on being a drama teacher. So you've done 2 years of drama and theatre. Now you're going to learn how to be the teacher teaching drama.
So performing in front of the chalkboard, really, like the teacher as we understood it.
Right. Well, or rather, not even the teacher, but the drama teacher. So teaching the subject of drama, teaching theatre and performance.
Yes.
That's what I kind of thought it was. And I get to this course in my third year and I realize, it's called Applied Drama, and that each of the courses, each of the semesters have a different applied drama focus. And in third year, the first focus is something called process drama. The second semester, the course is focused on theatre and education. The fourth year, first semester course is focused on theatre of the oppressed.
Yes.
The fourth, the fourth year, second semester is focused on something else.
Yes.
And so my world expanded into applied drama and theatre.
Yeah.
And I enter into this sector understanding that this is about using drama and theatre, using the values, the tools, the techniques of that drama teaches us, using that in a way with community, any community, to heal, transform,
Yeah.
educate,
Yeah.
activate. So it's about using drama and theatre to achieve any of these things within any community, whether it be an educational community, whether it be a development community, whether it be a group of people gathered, any community, any group of people using theatre to change, to transform, to educate, to heal, to activate.
So our candidate fellows had a taste of applied theatre at our last Summit Connected 2022. Drama for Life came and gave us a performance really highlighting the experiences of candidate fellows. And for someone who's never encountered applied theatre, Sheree, please just give us a short summary. This is applied theatre, the end.
Okay. Applied theatre uses drama and theatre to transform communities.
Yeah. So by taking stories, yes?
Well, it can be in any way.
Okay.
Now, applied theatre is also an umbrella term for so many different methods of practice. So there is theatre of the oppressed, playback theatre, drama in education, theatre in education, theatre for development. There's all these different methods that sit under this umbrella. And at the heart of all of them, it is about drama. It is about embodiment. It isn't necessarily about story. Some of them are focused on story. Some of them are focused on oppression. Some of them are focused on change. Some of them are focused on learning.
Yeah.
And what I had done at the summit was introduce your fellows to games and exercises
Yes.
that come out of a practitioner of applied theatre called Augusto Boal. So Augusto Boal is this amazing Brazilian practitioner, and he is so important for us to understand the marriage between drama and education.
Yes.
Because Augusto Boal created his framework of learning and knowledge development and self-development. He based it on Paulo Freire, which is a philosopher also from Brazil, I think, who really speaks about liberating the classroom. And so Augusto Boal takes this philosophy that Freire introduces us to around liberating the classroom and moving out of oppressive structures of teaching and learning, structures that look at students as empty vessels that need to be filled, and move them into a place of dialogue, acknowledging that they're not empty vessels, they come with knowledge, and giving them space to liberate their learning by changing the structures of the classroom. So Augusto Boal takes this concept and he goes, okay, drama as a tool can do that.
Yeah.
If we bring the embodiment into the classroom, we are already changing the dynamics of the learning, the transaction of learning.
Yeah.
And so he has a really great book called Games for Actors and Non-Actors.
Yes.
And I literally took some of those exercises from that book, because in this book, he really reminds us that the whole body thinks.
Yes.
Not just the mind, not just the brain. Why I think this is important, or why at that time at the summit, why I thought it was so important for those fellows to grasp this concept, is because, in our classrooms, we're expecting our learners to receive and put out messages constantly, receive the messages that the teacher is giving in the classroom, that the content we're learning in our textbooks, they're meant to receive these messages. But Boal tells us that our whole body is constantly at war in the world. Like, our senses are in overdrive when we're interacting with the world on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So much that we actually don't take the time to realize our senses have dumbed down. Do we really listen to the things that we're hearing?
Yeah.
Do we really see the things we're looking at? Do we really
Are we present?
Are we present?
Are we present, essentially? I mean, this is a very important conversation, and one that's really close to my heart. I mean, I'm a drama kid myself. That's how we met in these streets. Cheers, clink, clink, clink. We're having tea in the studio this afternoon. I find this particular methodology revolutionary by mere factor that it is the engagement of the body. It calls for the engagement of the whole body, as opposed to just the cognitive wirings that we are so used to. So what often is the perception, Sheree, when you say drama in education? What do people run to when they see that term?
Yeah. drama in education has developed over the years.
Okay.
First and foremost, when people think of drama in education, a lot of the old school practitioners refer to the drama teacher, the teacher who's teaching drama.
Yes.
This is a lot of what's been captured in European and Western textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Drama in education back in the day captures the drama teacher. But it's developed. The other part of drama in education is the teacher that uses drama as a methodology to teach. So
Sure.
now drama is not a subject that is being taught, but drama is an actual teaching methodology. The same way we can look at any other method of teaching, drama can be looked at as a method and can be quite useful as a method to teach.
Okay, so it's as a method to teach. Let's then contextualize drama in education in maths. Can we find drama in education
Yeah.
within that subject? And if so, give us an example of how this looks like.
Great. So I don't do maths.
That is Sheree's opinion. As JGF, we strongly align ourselves with people doing all subjects, please. STEM
Okay,
in
STEM
some,
all the way.
STEM in certain instances, but like, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm a STEMmer, but
Yeah.
put the A there.
Yes, STEMmer.
Put the arts.
STEMmer.
So, but there are people who do use drama for maths.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw out a name there because this woman is a brilliant woman, mentored me as well in everything I know about drama in education.
We all about references in this household.
Gay Morris, an old professor in Cape Town. But Gay Morris has actually written quite a lot about using drama in the classroom to teach maths.
Okay.
I can't give you a lived example because I've never used drama to teach maths in the classroom. But we're talking about embodying ourselves and getting out of sitting on our chair and working out a calculation, working out a gosh, I can't even speak the language of maths. Working out a sum.
Yeah. I'm like, calculation was right, wasn't it?
Okay, cool. What if we take it off the paper and embody it? Like as simple as that. I'm giving you a very basic example of how drama can be used to teach. Instead of putting numbers on a paper, let's put bodies in the space.
Okay.
So maths equation that talks about John having 3 soccer balls
Yes.
and his brother having 2 and John,
When they bring them
together,
how many soccer balls? Hello, Maths Lit.
Let's see John with these 3 soccer balls and let's see his brother with 2. Let's embody what's written on the paper. That is it in a nutshell. I mean, that is it in its basic form for maths. Drama as a method is actually called, there's actually something called process drama. It invites the learner to go into a fictional world. Let's journey into a world outside of what we know, a fictional context. Like, let's put all our students that are studying Romeo and Juliet for English. I don't know if that's still a set work, but it was for me back in the Eastern Cape. Let's put them in Shakespearean times. Let's go into a fictional context. Let's put them into a family feud where the Capulets and the Montagues are feuding. Let's put it, we can even bring it close to home. So let's realize it in a contemporary world where the Mkizes are now feuding with
The Kumalos.
Kumalos, and let's begin to experience in role what it feels like to want something that your family disapproves of. Now we're going to begin to understand some of the themes that are coming up from the set work.
Yeah. So in process drama, it said when speaking about the teacher also has a role. The role is not a character, right? What is it? Because the way that I understand the role is that teacher now stops existing in the framework of hierarchies.
Yes.
But teacher as facilitator.
Yes. Yes.
In this particular context.
Teacher's not the all-knowing.
Yes.
Teacher is the inquirer.
Yes.
Teacher wants to know on a genuine level with the students, with the learners, what makes you say that? What do you think? Teacher is facilitator of the fictional world, but teacher is also the inquirer, wanting to know what the learner is thinking as the learner is engaging in this fictional world. As the learner is embodying a character, teacher is asking the inquiring questions that makes the learner critically engage with the content. That is what's at the heart of it all.
And themselves in the content.
Then
a question then would arise that, you know what, we hear you, Sheree, right? But there are timelines and there are deliverables that need to be met.
Yeah.
And you know how these things go. You could come into a classroom with a list of 5 objectives that you want to meet, but because the classroom is so engaged in objective 2, that it might come at the expense of the other 3 objectives. So does process drama mean that there is a kind of not non-awareness, but like time constraints? Is it aware of the fact that, we have outcomes here?
It is, and I think that is why it isn't about, every objective and every outcome, we're not doing a process drama to meet those outcomes, on the curriculum. But when you're looking at the content that you're dealing with, it's about giving an opportunity for them to look at the content in a different way.
Sure.
So I wouldn't advise educators are just process dramaing it out there for every set work or
Sure.
But perhaps there is a particular aspect of this content that the learners, you can see there is a wall. You can't break through for them.
Yeah.
Take it out of the paper and embody it. So find the content.
It's a tool, essentially.
It's a tool. Find the content in your curriculum that you constantly see needs learners to experience an alternative kind of breakthrough in their learning.
So now, process drama in education for non-drama teachers. And by non-drama teachers, you don't necessarily specialize in drama. How do a person who's never understood knowledge to be embodied, how do I then get into it?
I think it's going to be really difficult for you to get into the full understanding of process drama if you haven't been taught it, if you haven't engaged with it. It's not impossible, however. For me, I would like to encourage teachers across the curriculum to find process drama. Find a course. Find a training. Bring me in, I'll train you.
Hello, hi.
But because it's possible for any teacher to learn the skill. You don't need to be drama ready to do an imaginary set up in your classroom.
Yes.
But if you haven't done the training, if you don't know all these terms, teacher enroll, building belief, pretext, because this all comes with the vocabulary of process drama, you don't know that. For me, it's about beginning with the body. And that's what I was trying to get through to those candidates, fellows at the summit, is you might not be a drama teacher, but if you do an embodied exercise in the classroom, you already are, and I think Bawal uses this term, you are re-harmonizing the learner's senses and allowing them to receive a message in a better way. You might not be able to run a process drama because you haven't been trained in it. But if you're picking up an embodied exercise, an exercise that is, and this is what I did with at the summit, very basic exercises of mirroring,
Yes.
building intuition. A mirroring exercise is asking two learners to listen in a different way. Listen with our eyes, listen with our breath as we mirror each other's movements, slowing down our learning in the classroom. Just to do a 5-minute mirroring exercises is already reharmonizing the sense of what we look at and what we feel. That's what Bawal's asking us in those games and exercises. He actually calls them game exercises. It's a term also that I introduced to the fellows at the summit. Is let's introduce embodied games in our classroom spaces, because the first step is reminding ourselves that everyone needs to be reharmonized. Everyone's senses needs a reharmonizing moment so
We
that
are
we can
dissociated
receive
from ourselves.
and give out messages.
Yeah.
For me, that's the first step. The second step then is what happens when we start playing games in the classroom is we remind ourselves what it means to play. And that is a fundamental aspect of process drama. To play allows us to role play. But we have forgotten what it means to play. And you look at kids, when they're playing house, school, teacher, whatever it is, they have entered a fictional context of their own. We are now at the school. They have stepped into roles. I'm the teacher, you the children. There's no time frame. It's just like we're in the classroom. They are giving the cues. The bell's ringing. Ka-ting, ka-ting, ka-ting. All right, settle down. They know the rules of the game. Teacher talks, they listen. There's playtime, break time, lunch time. Learners are playing, their imaginations are wild. I mean, kids. There's no limit to their imagination. But we've forgotten what it means to play as adults. And the older we get, so you go into that GET and FET classrooms, those learners have forgotten what it means to play.
And we
because
also
the
trained
mandate,
not to know. And when we think playing, there's a negative connotation to it.
Absolutely.
We think out of control,
childlike, childish.
childish. We think it has no purpose, and there is no tangible outcome that is purposed towards a greater learning that comes with play.
Exactly. And that's the complete opposite. Because the definition of a game and the definition of an exercise, there's always a purpose. There's always an output. And we forget that.
Yes.
And so in the context of process drama, what we're asking teachers to do is play with your learners in the classroom. And let me tell you, I've done process drama with pickaninnies, with little babies. And I've done process drama with adults. Everyone has the ability to transcend. And art has the ability to transcend us. Well, actually, there's a great word, name drop again.
Please do.
Helen Nicholson writes about theatre in a very beautiful way. She talks about the gift of theatre. One of the key things she says is, let's stop using the word transformation. Let's use the word transportation.
Okay.
When it comes to talking about art and the creative. Because art, theatre, drama, games, playing, embodiment has the ability to transport us to another space. We move through an encounter. And when we have a number of transporting moments, we will be transformed.
Sure.
Let's use drama. Let's use the imagination. Let's use games and exercises to transport our learners. When they get to the other side, some sort of transformation is going to happen, whether they understand the maths problem better because they've visualized it now, they've embodied it, or whether they understand the themes of rivalry in Romeo and Juliet because we've embodied it. We're not asking our teachers, our educators to embody the whole story of Romeo and Juliet in the classroom. It's going to take us time. Our learners are not actors. We are not actors. But let's take a slice of that life and ask them to role play that situation of the Kumalos and the Mkizes. And at the end of that role play, which they will be able to do very well when you drop their guard and let them know that this is about playing. It's not about, you don't have to learn lines. It's improvised. There's no script.
There are no marks.
There's no marks. Let's cut a slice of this home environment and see what it looks like. Now let's ask ourselves, what does it feel like to be caught in a family feud and wanting to be with someone that you're not allowed to be with?
It's an invitation to nuance.
It's an invitation to nuance. So I know this is, I can't even remember the question that you asked, but for me, it boils down to play. Play has the potential for us to transport ourselves to another world. And when we come out of that other world, we would have transformed some sense. Whether it is just a reharmonizing of our senses, or whether it is learning a theme, or whether it is understanding a mathematical problem. Something has transformed. Our understanding of something before has changed because we have gone through a creative transport. We've been transported creatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you find your engagement with the candidate fellows? You had the opening session with Drama for Life, and then you had your own workshop. How was it experiencing their own transporting, if you will, into the embodied world? How was it witnessing that?
Well, I'll tell you the first part of having playback at the summit in person. I think, something like that allows those fellows to be let their stories be transported on stage. Their stories are coming alive. Their collective we're moving through witnessing each other's stories. I think that just set the tone for what's to come for them. So the energy of the fellows was on fire. Their willingness to share their story.
Yeah.
And playback theatre, as a form of applied theatre, is just based on sharing personal story. What it does is when we, as a collective, bear witness to someone's personal story, we build connections with them. And that's what it did that day. And it also built, for me, I also built a connection. So I was like, okay, these fellows are at the beginning of their weekend and they're going to go through a whole learning of their own, and I'm going to see them at the end of the weekend. How do I keep this energy and willingness?
Yes.
Because that's what I received. Willingness to tell my story, willingness to hold space for each other, willingness to build community. And so on the third day, I think, when I came through to do the workshop, that's what I was going in there with. These fellows are willing to receive and they're willing to share. And I had no idea that the impact of my workshop would be what it was. I thought that they'd go, okay, nice. Okay, maybe I thought they'd be there with their books. I'm teaching them the exercises that they will do in their classroom. But all I did for that hour and a half, I think, was introduce them. I reharmonized their senses. And at the end of that session, they were able to go, if that had an impact on me, how much more impact can this have in a classroom, in my mathematics classroom, in my very boring geography classroom?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they continue to remember in their bodies what transporting their bodies did to themselves.
Yeah.
How that has the potential to transform learning. Because if they recall that in their body, they'll remember the importance of that in the classroom.
Yes. The importance of being present. Last week, Kamagwini Dolweni, we were talking about the value of mentorship when crafting teachers for leadership, right? And she had a point when she's like, we need teachers who are cognizant about what it is that they do. Why am I setting this test?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this, right? And there's a kind of dissociation between self and the performance of a role, right? Be that you're a teacher, you're just going to ask. You're not going to ask from a place of genuine inquiry.
Yeah,
you're just going to ask because we
you
need
have
marks.
to.
We need marks, and we need people to progress to the next grade. And process drama is an activation to the senses, but also to the purpose of what it is that
Absolutely.
you are doing. You are there to co-create knowledge.
Yeah.
You are there to activate empathy. Because if one thing, I remember during Summit, there was a candid fellow who was like, you know what, this is my first Summit here, and this is the first time I'm being on a plane.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, from an organizational point of view, what does that mean for us when we have candidate fellows who will be
Right.
going on a plane for the first time? How do we support them? Like, do we give them hacks to get to the airport? Like, there's a lot of assumptions that we have, we're making about ourselves and each other's lives based on our own experiences. But process drama says, no, we are different, right? And
we
this
think,
is the
and we
difference.
think differently. We each have different ideas.
Yeah, it's not a problem in South Africa to say we are different, but the question is, where is the difference? We don't know where the difference lies. We assume where the difference lies.
Yeah.
And process theatre says, hey, or process drama says, hey, this is how I'm different.
This is how I'm different. This is how I'm thinking differently.
Yes.
You know, there's this beautiful, and I don't know if the listeners see the process drama or like can get a sense of it. I don't know. I'm hoping, based on what we've spoken about so
Yes.
far. But there's this concept called metaxis.
Okay.
Metaxis is a concept that's used in many different parts of drama processes, understanding drama processes. Drama therapy uses this concept called metaxis, but so does process drama. Metaxis is when the fictional, the real response is coming out in the fictional setting.
Sure.
So the learner is in this fictional world of Romeo and Juliet, of Mkhize and Kumalo,
Yes.
but they're responding from what they know, from a personal understanding of what it means
Yes.
to be in love, what it means to run away with your love interest, or what it means to feel like you're not heard as a teenager.
Yeah.
So metaxis is when both the real and the fictional parts meet.
Yes, that intersection.
This intersection, and this is magical for process drama because this is where we're inviting the learner to give their personal response. They're not just responding from textbook. They're not reenacting the play. They're going, no, this is what I, Sheree, thinks and feels, but I'm speaking through the character of Juliet.
How incredible would this method be in a country that is experiencing experiencing the national crisis in the classroom? So
Sure.
racism, sexism, the finer details that come with racism, texturism of hair, colorism, homophobia, queerphobia,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To be able to bring this process to say, especially for those who are like, I don't want to share my opinion in class because it's too visceral, it's too real. But your opinion in a fictitious context, where in reality we can't necessarily see the beginning or the end of the fictitious and the real.
Yes, yes.
Right? So you're protected in various
You're protected.
senses.
You're protected. You're distanced.
You are distant.
from the reality, but your input is provided. This is fundamentally what we want in our classrooms, right? We want critical thinking. We want people to feel like their voice matters in the classroom, that they come with knowledge. Process drama can be used to address that. I've just finished examining an MA student's research on using process drama to heighten and deepen the learning of in history of the Soweto uprisings, the educational uprisings, and so her research, it's so beautiful because she goes in every week to the history classroom and she does a process drama with different levels of distancing. So she doesn't put them straight into what's the school? Isaac Morris. Is it Isaac Morrison? Oh gosh.
I don't even know.
Oh my God. All the history teachers, please forgive me.
They side-eyeing you, girl. Hard
1979.
Hey?
What is it? The uprising. The
1976.
oh my gosh.
Girl, I think we need a Metaxas you.
Oh,
We need a Metaxas
1976. I'm so sorry. 1976.
Yeah, Hector Peterson.
Hector Peterson. That moment,
Yes.
right? And so she doesn't throw them straight in there.
Oh, sure.
There's also trauma that sits in there. Our generation of Gen Z isn't that far. Their parents could be, anyway.
You're still alive.
They're still
People
alive.
who experience that are still alive.
Absolutely. So, but she goes in each week and she does little processes with them around what does it mean to fight for something that you're not receiving, fight for something that is against something that's inadequate to you being a human. And these kids are offering their thoughts, their opinions, and after a series of weeks of learning this, and then she does a process drama of them in the uprising, opposing Bantu education. These learners have able to communicate, because process drama isn't just about the doing. We also reflect. We also speaking in this process, and these learners are reflecting on all levels of how they understand not just that moment of 1976, but even understanding even further what the Bantu education curriculum consisted of, how that contributed to the legacy of apartheid, how that contributes to the current situation of economic crisis. Like, they weren't just learning in history this moment of 1976. They learned so much more about what that moment in time means to our country, means to our nation. And isn't that critical thinking? Isn't that what we want in our classrooms? We want learners to leave with a consciousness of the content we're asking them to learn. Be critical. When you're solving that maths problem, think critically. When you're engaging with this English literature set work, think critically.
Yeah.
Don't just respond textbook, because that's the assessment.
Yeah.
Think critically. And in her research, she does this lovely comparison, because in her research, she compares the history class that she had taught and their final results of the exam versus the history class that she didn't teach and their final results of that section.
What were the marks?
The marks from the group that she taught, that section on Soweto Uprising, 1976, those kids all got like 98, 88%. And the other class got 60, 50. So it gives opportunity for that diverse range of thinking. It allows the student to not be passive in their learning.
Yes.
They're actively engaging with the content that you are asked to teach.
And also it answers the why, right? Listening to a podcast by Mpumilo Dwaba, and I think her most recent episode with her guest, they deal with the concept of the why. And certain teachers go into the classroom not entirely knowing the why of that particular subject, the why of that particular course. But I think with process drama, we are able to say, from my 4 or 5 weeks dealing with this particular course, this is why it was important for me to study a study 1976. This is why it was important for me to study Biko. And this history that we have, and we have the responsibility to hold, because also it almost engages the civic muscle, right?
Absolutely.
You become a citizen. Within space, you become a citizen.
Citizenship literacy is a whole nother concept.
Yeah.
That drama in the classroom can encourage.
Yeah.
Citizen literacy in citizenship. But continue.
Yes, you are now a citizen who's experiencing another citizen's lived experience. So empathy, critical thinking, all these quote unquote soft skills that the world now is dying to have, quite literally.
Absolutely.
Corporates are at the knees of individuals who can activate that kind of soft skill spectrum. That too is activated, right? So Sheree, I am also quite interested in ascertaining your journey, because what I understand is that you coordinated the class, the drama, the course. How did that start for you?
Yeah, so I mean, in that third year classroom, I had an amazing teacher. Her name is Tammy Gordon Roberts. She actually owns a storybook cafe somewhere out in Bryanston, Johannesburg. It's beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
Go there if anyone's interested. Story Cafe. But anyway, Tamara Gordon Roberts taught me process drama in my third year. And years later, of course, I was an A student.
Purr, honey.
But she taught me this, and years later, after I'd graduated with my master's, she called me up about 2 years later and invited me to examine her process drama third year students. So I think for 2 years, I examined those students as an external examiner. I'd been doing this work on my own outside in the big bad world. In fact, at a deaf school, because I also specialized in South African Sign Language when I was a student. So I kind of merged all of this. I was like drama, education, and disability. But anyway, so then she was leaving from teaching that course. And because I had examined, been an A+ student, she's like, hey, here's the perfect candidate to teach this one semester course. So I started teaching process drama. And I think after 3 years of doing process drama, the lecturer that was teaching the master's course called Drama in Education, she was leaving, and I just picked up her course as well. It was offered to me. So I was teaching process drama at third year, and at third year level, and at master's level, I was teaching a broader course called Drama in Education. I taught for about 9 years. That's I'd been teaching this course, and that Drama in Education course is about looking at the drama teacher, looking at drama as a method of teaching, looking at what a process of theatre making can also be, how a process of theatre making can be used as an educational strategy for those who are learning drama, maybe outside of the classroom. But this course is so dear to my heart, because what I would do in this course is I would take the students, these higher education adult learners, through experiential learning moments where as a classroom we go out on site together. We are the collective. And we would work in these spaces where they were constantly generating plans, process drama plans. I'm consulting with them, giving them feedback. The next morning we're in the classroom. I'm witnessing them. They come out, they reflect. They then have to plan for the next morning. I'm consulting with them that evening, looking at our plans. There's that they get to do. Then there's the role modeling, which I get to do. So then they co-lead with me, where I'm leading, they're facilitating with me, where I'm showing them some of the things that works with learners. And we're out in classrooms doing this. And we would go to this beautiful space in Mpumalanga, and we would be there for a week just doing this. And this was an experiential moment for these master students. Some of them there were students some students came and did that MA just to do that drama in education course. Educators, had a 50-something-year-old educator from Swaziland who left her teaching so she can come and specialize and do this course. I had another student who had already worked for, the regulating body of our exams in South Africa.
Yes.
I can't remember the acronym now. She works for them already. She's already on the board that regulates the exams. She came just that she could do this course. There were students who didn't even know that they wanted to be in the classroom, who did this course and are now doing fantastic things in schools. They might not be qualified educators, and that's where, when we talk about the undersourcing and the disjuncture between the arts and education, they are brilliant facilitator educators. They know how to use these tools to liberate the classroom space, but they don't have a SASA registration. They can't be in the classrooms. They can only be extra curriculum. They can only be after school. They can only be tutors. But anyway, this course is very dear to my heart. There's somebody else that's teaching it right now because I've left the university just to take a little bit of my self-imposed sabbatical.
Yeah.
It's a 14-week course that's asking us to engage in this way of learning so that we can benefit the main beneficiary of our classrooms,
Yeah.
the learner.
Yeah. It's about the learner, nothing and no one else. And also, back again to the conversation around citizenship.
Yeah.
We are building citizens. Teachers build citizens.
So I'm outside of teaching that course. The course still gets taught at the department's actually called Drama for Life. It's a postgraduate department, so that's only attached to an MA degree in applied drama and theatre. But right now, I'm out here and I'm privately consulting. I'm offering my time. I'm in spaces where I'm hoping to inspire educators of whatever kind to think about how we learn with our whole body, to encourage educators to play more in their classrooms and reharmonize our learners, their senses.
Yeah. And Sheree, at JGF, we always say, be a teacher. We would like to know from you why
you should be a teacher. Oh, I think you should be a teacher because we still haven't gotten it right. As a country, we haven't gotten it right. We have a past that haunts us, and not even a past of the last 27 years or 28 years. Oh gosh, maths. 1994. Okay, not even a past of apartheid, but a past as a country. We haven't gotten it right, from missionaries to Bantu education to CAPS to OBE. And it's something that I think Jonathan Jansen says very much well. Like our government is still trying to prove themselves in this department.
Yes.
So we need you to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Because the government is still trying to prove themselves, but actually we can't wait for them. You need to be a teacher. Be a teacher so that we can get it right.
Yeah.
Be a teacher so that we can finally move forward. Be a teacher so that the next generation of educators or the next generation of adults, are so consciously moving through the world that we don't have so much hate happening, that we don't have so much greed taking place.
Yeah.
Be a teacher so that we can get it right.
Yeah. That's incredible, Sheree. That is so incredible. And thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for your generosity. You have been part of our community of practice as JGF, part of our community, friends of JGF. And we really hope, in fact, I have incredible faith that this did strike a chord with many a listener, as it did with our candidate fellows when you had your sessions with them. Sheree, are you available to anyone who'd like to have a chat, consultation, to read a paper, give advice?
I am.
How do people get a hold of you?
People can email me. Should I give my email address now?
Give the one that there's a long thing with Sheree and email addresses, trust and believe.
People can email me at hallysheree@gmail.com. That's HALLEYCHERAE @gmail.com. People can email me. I mean, I've left higher education for now. I'm on sabbatical. But I am passionate about higher education and furthering adult learning in education, right? So you can email me. You can also find me on Instagram. I just go by Sheree Halley. I respond quite quickly if you want. Those are my main platforms, email and Instagram. You'll see some inspiring educational stuff that I put out there as well.
Awesome. And good people, this is the end of our episode today. You can further the conversation on our social media platforms. It is at JG Fellowship on Twitter. It is Jakes_Chaval_Fellowship on Instagram. It is Jakes Chaval Fellowship on Facebook. And in the event I have any of these wrong, just go to our website. It's Jakes Chaval Fellowship. You'll get the links to our social media pages. Please keep the conversation going. Be a teacher, because we have so many things to get right. We don't have it right yet. Completely inspired by you, Sheree, and everyone listening. Thank you so much for joining us.